Thanks everyone for coming. You can see my face there. If you want, send me an email. What we're going to do is we're going to go over, just jump forward here, go over DW Cloud, some new information on it, some Spectrum features, our CAS system, our Megapix cameras, some Blackjack AI servers. You'll be surprised we're releasing shortly. Some speakers, and then we'll have talk about the PoE splitter, and then we'll have a Q&A on these items. So by all means, we'll be recording this and posting the recording either later today or tomorrow. So if you have to dip out, there'll be a recorded, edited without some of my, probably some of my small talk I make when I do these things. But anyway, let's get started. So first off, 99.99% of our products are NDAA, TAA compliant. So it allows you to do GSA contracts, things like that without worrying that you're out of compliance and someone doesn't like because the parts weren't manufactured in a place that, people don't like. So we're going to talk about the cloud, and we're going to talk about some terminology we use. And so the cloud breaks up into some components. So first you have the server, okay, which is a PC machine that has the Spectrum media server installed on it. The media server maintains and syncs to the cloud. It also records data from the cameras and does a bunch of things in the background. A workstation is a system, again, a PC, but it could be a Mac device, Mac PC or Windows PC, an iOS device, or an Android device running Spectrum, and you can connect to any system or server via the cloud. And to me, a server is a single Spectrum box running computer running Spectrum. Okay, a system is multiple servers together, and there's a thing we do called a merge, which allows you to take multiple servers and merge those NVRs together, making a system, which again, when we talk about the cloud, will appear as multiple servers can appear as one system. So connecting to the cloud is very easy. Even if you don't have Spectrum installed in anything, you can go to this webpage, dwspectrum.digital-watchdog.com, and you'll see this page, and you'll see a little orange button down there, create an account. Okay, this allows you to do a direct sign up. Okay, and you will see, put your email in, your first name, last name, create a password. We even think our customers are so smart, they don't need that second password. Just make it a password that's strong, okay, and that you can remember. But if you don't remember it, we have a cloud password reset, so it can reset your password in the cloud, all right? And so the first thing you're going to see when you log into the page is a blank screen. But as systems are shared with you, you will then see these little rectangles show up. And these rectangles can represent one, what we call a CAS camera, or multiple CAS cameras, one server, or multiple servers, and again, what we called a merge. And these little rectangles will allow you to go and look at system settings if you click outside here. But if you click that one, it'll try to open it in DW Spectrum. Okay, I will look at some questions in a second. So anyway, so here's a video of just going in, clicking here. Of course, we've got audio running on here. We'll just kill that. There we go. Clicking here, and then I can go in and change camera settings. I can add users, activate, deactivate licenses, adjust Spectrum server-side motion detection. So you can do this all from a web browser, okay? So once you have an account created, you can also connect a system or a server to the cloud using that account if you want to make that what I would call the master account, okay? So that master account may be the person in your organization that is managing systems for you. So it may be that you're installation company and you help customers by adding and removing users, doing all that stuff. So you may want to have this level of control where you can go in and look at different sites under your heading, or customer has a bunch of sites and he has a person that does it. Now, that being said, when I said a person that manage it or persons that manage it or department, you may want to create an email that's quasi-generic, like nvr at xyz.com or technician xyz.com or security department or whatever. And then that is the sort of master account you use, and then you send out and add users via their email to those systems. Okay, if that makes any sense to you. It's a great way to set up a system and add users to that particular system or that particular group of servers. So, and here's again a video showing, again, there we go, showing you put in your password of what you want for your master account. Okay, I've got a DW Cloud one that I use. You've got to put password in for the cloud because, of course, this is your first connection to the cloud. And then the system will connect to the cloud. You can go in, and then it will ask you one time for the local admin password, just to make sure you're you and you're allowed to make the changes that a second administrator makes, because the baked-in admin user and the first cloud connected user over here are the two administrators. So once you've done that, you can, again, log into the cloud account. Anything that's shared of you, it will be shared in Spectrum and also shared on that DW Spectrum webpage, which you can connect to also directly from here. So these are, of course, this is the Spectrum full client, looks the same on Windows or Mac. And if you look, we've got a few of these that have a cloud icon on them, but then some of them don't, okay? And the reason why those don't is they're a direct connected system. And some of these have, older versions of Spectrum on them. These are 6.0 versions. Some of them are a little older versions of Spectrum. So this also applies to mobile. So you can have Spectrum on your Android device, your iOS device. You can go into the cloud in the iOS web browser and do the same thing you can do on a full PC using a Chrome web browser or whatever. So you can be in a client and search for objects and export video, but you can go to the mobile web browser and look at cameras, add a user, change settings at the server itself, even from the mobile client. Now, I prefer a tablet for it only because of the screen real estate. You get, as you can see, it gets a little tight on a phone. Stuff might be hard to see just because there's a lot going on there. So I prefer a tablet, gives you a little more screen real estate, but that's just me. So another addition to the cloud is we've added the cloud bookmarks. So Spectrum in the web browser is not used a lot for surveillance, but we're always updating and improving what's going on in the cloud. And one of these are the bookmarks. So bookmarks can be created by Spectrum rule and event system in Spectrum. So anything Spectrum interacts with can create these bookmarks that you can go look at. So example, an AI camera detects a car, that creates a bookmark like what we're seeing here. But also an access control system can send a door prop alert and sends us the info, and Spectrum can create a bookmark on that. So there's a camera right near a door. Everyone in the building decides to go out and hang out outside that door. Creates a door prop alert, which then creates a bookmark you can search for in Spectrum or in the cloud. Okay. So the other thing, you can go from the cloud bookmarks in the settings, if you have permissions, to go in and do system administration. Again, I don't know why all you decide to crank up on here. But anyway, so you can go in and look at camera settings, add, remove users, licenses, whatever. So this will become your dashboard for managing Spectrum. Okay. You don't necessarily have to have the full client to do it. And you can go in and see server health, hold down logs, look at like network and memory usage, all in the web browser. So the web browser will be more and more of a spot you can go in and do it. Now, another item that has been in for a while, but I don't think many people know about, is you can play back in the cloud, of course, but you can also export video. And what you do is you take your mouse and you just highlight an area and you draw it with your right mouse button, and you'll have a little orange group where you can do 1 second, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. There is no known limitation to it, meaning you could take 8 hours of video and download it, but I've never had to do more than 15 minutes. And the limitation would be web browser memory usage. So if you have a bunch of tabs open and you're trying to download 2 hours worth of video, the web browser could run out of memory because it's got to process the video. So better to do long or multi-camera export, use the full client. Okay, that would be my only suggestion is the web browser, and you don't know how many tabs and extensions people have installed on it, and all those things use up memory. So, summary, the Spectrum Cloud allows any device, okay, so Android, Mac OS, Windows, whatever, to connect to a server running Spectrum, okay, through a firewall, okay. We do have, when someone really locks down a network, we do have instructions for, it's not getting around it, it's allowing the data to transfer out so the cloud works with the system. But most of the time you don't need it. If you want that resource, please email me. I will email you a link to the latest article on our website, which does get updated as things change. So you can connect from anywhere, do system updates, add a user, adjust camera settings, live view, playback, and export video, all via the DW Cloud. So really is good setup, and we're always doing feature and performance enhancements in the cloud function. So even if you don't really use it, you use the full client, or you're always using your phone, every now and then check out the web client, because things can just pop up on there that have some improvements to it. So we're now going to talk about some Spectrum new features. Some of you guys may have been on, a webinar before and seen some of these, but we get a lot of new people on these, and so I want to just go over what happened with Spectrum Pro. So the first thing is camera hotspotting, and so it allows us to, what we can do is create an area on the screen, which will then open another camera that should be related to it, could be around the corner, could be somewhere else, but it allows it to just quickly open up cameras based on the hotspot symbols on the server. So some people call it camera linking or camera hotspot. And again, here's like a little short video showing a hotspot. It then shows the cars next to that from it. Then you can take it, drag it over so you can lay it out the way you want. Open up another one, and that opens another camera that's also looking, if you notice, the back of that truck, that little pickup truck, and so there's 3 pickup trucks there. So it allows you to just have those cameras linked so you can go through and do it. So it's a great add-on feature. Allows you to either follow people or objects, or just say, hey, what's going on in this part of the parking lot or this area of the warehouse, and have that hotspot right on there. So you're not hunting over here for maybe to find the appropriate camera. You can just link them together. So another enhancement, and this goes into some detail, is our LDAP support. Because, sometimes we'll go in and it'll be, our customers are going to a large organization and use our cloud, and you can use the customer's email, their email to access the cloud. But sometimes, we get the question, can we talk to their current system they already have? Most people run LDAP, okay, which is an open standard for users and user interface on a system. And so this allows us to attach to one and pull in users or groups, okay, from their system. And here is a, screenshot or representation of LDAP in Windows in Active Directory, okay? It'll continuously sync, so you can set the sync for every minute, every 5 minutes, once a day, once an hour, whatever you want to do. And if you have some minor information, you guys can do this, but I'd suggest get the IT group for these companies to handle it. They probably don't want to give you their, what's it called, the domain admin username and password, which will be needed for this to work right. But the information is very simple. You can do users, and then you can have your domain controller, okay, and your domain name. And then if you want, put a filter in. And maybe these people are part of the surveillance group or, whatever their group is called. And it will go in and sync with that group and then pull over the users in it, okay? And then it will create an LDAP default, which is a very limited user. And then you can add whatever custom roles or the baked-in roles in Spectrum on it. So again, it allows you to talk directly to their system and work with their single sign-on. So the user doesn't have to sit there and type in a different username and password than they would read. And essentially they can just, once they save it, they save it. And if their access gets revoked on the Active Directory, it's also revoked in Spectrum. Okay, and I think you'll see some of our guys do with our cloud where they have a user connected remotely and they click a little green button in here and it turns off their access right away. And it's the same thing when it's talking to that. So really a powerful tool if you need it, and it's good to know it's there and it's not like a scary, super scary thing to do. And as you can see, you can also pull in all their groups. I think when you create an LDAP, it creates like 51 groups when you put a new server together. And some of those they gotta, delete. Some of those they gotta add their own custom groups too. We also have an improved user granular management. So now you can go down to the different menu items on a camera, whether it's for setup or playback or export or whatever, and granularly control that. And you can create a group. So I always like the example, you've got the warehouse guy. He can see this 4 cameras or 6 cameras or whatever he's got in his area, but he can't see any other cameras anywhere else. So he can't be logging in, looking at the front door, seeing if the guy who's delivering his DoorDash has arrived yet. So again, one of these things where you can limit access and get very granular control over what a user can do and can't do. And the other added function is temporary user access. So you can send a link to someone's email and they can go in and use the system for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. It might be one of those things where you have the police or someone sitting there saying, hey, I want to look at the footage. You can give them temporary access. They can log in. As soon as they leave the site, 2 hours later, 3 hours later, 4 hours later, it revokes their access so they can't use it again. They got to ask for another one, and we'll be adding features and stuff like that to it. The other thing, which I know I've talked about before because I love this feature, is we don't have to, if we don't want to, go through their SMTP server. If they're connected to DW Cloud, we can route now email alerts and email information from the server to their email account via our DW Cloud. So that's a really important add-on feature. It makes some stuff easier. Again, the IT guys may, oh no, I want the mail to go through our server. Okay. But a lot of times you can't get in touch with them, and at least temporarily you can do that while they figure out how to use their own email server, which is sometimes happens. I've had it happen several times before. But anyway, another user experience is the playback. We've now had the playback much more granular. You can go in by hour, AM, PM. You can look at just a day, just a month, still use the time bar at the bottom. So we've really streamlined and allow you to rip through and go into playback whatever video you want. So again, just a really important update in Spectrum Pro. So we've also improved how the client server connection works. It has a much higher security protocol. We've also improved our GPU video decoding. So if you notice, if you have even a low-end NVIDIA chip on your laptop or PC, you'll see Spectrum works and runs much faster. It also works with the Intel, I forget what they call their GPU settings, but they have the things also. So it's designed to really leverage the GPUs. So Now, one of the things we're talking about as long as cloud is we've released our DWAI CAS. So these are deep learning cameras with the storage built into it and Spectrum server built into it. So this means that you don't need a black box to run them. The video will record there. The objects will store on the system, and you just need the DW cloud, which would be my recommendation to it, is to connect to them. And we've got a wide angle one, we've got a bullet camera, we've got a dome, we've got one of our turret cameras that have the different colored lights in it. We got white light, blue light, and you can go in and attach to that and have that do like alerts. It detects a person after 7 o'clock at night. You see a red flashing light from the camera, things like that. And you can do it all without a black box or server because the cameras become a server. You can tie the servers together in what we call a merge in a system. So let's say you have a store and they've got 6 cameras. Those 6 cameras will become one rectangle on their DW cloud page, and you can go in and manage them just like a server. And a matter of fact, if I connected to a CAS unit right now, you couldn't really tell the difference between whether you're connected to a CAS thing unless it was clearly labeled CAS or a standard server. All the functionality is identical. So I got a little chart here, and I wanted to let you guys know what we had on these. So we've got, of course, a bullet camera that's 4K. We've got 2 cameras that do ANPR. One pulls the plate off the camera, and so again, that plate information will be stored at the camera, and you can create rules and stuff to deal with those plates using the event rules engine. And then we have another one that's ANPR plus MMCR, which is make, model, color of said vehicle. So now you'll be able to do that from the camera. And these are bullet style cameras. Okay, we have another bullet that's 4K, ultra wide lens. So that's the one here on the left. All right, a small Vandal dome, low profile Vandal dome, and then the turret camera with the red, blue light. So we have a line of cameras. We're going to be adding more of this, of course, and updating it. So, keep an eye out for that. But you can make a whole system with one of these with a switch and plug in a router and connect to DW Cloud. You don't need a black box at the site to run these. We have a gentleman in Australia, some guys in Texas, making those mobile surveillance carts for parking lots, stuff like that. And they're using the CAS cameras because it simplifies the setup. It uses less power. You take one of these cameras, the wide angle one, put it out somewhere where there's not really any good source of electricity, do a solar panel, a battery, and one of those cellular modems or Starlink, and away you go. So there's that. Now, let's talk about some other hardware updates. We've released a new low-profile dome. Got our same AI deep learning object detection. Creates 40 separate zones. So again, on all of our megapix cameras and our servers, there's none of this calibration stuff you have to do. So it's super easy to set up. This talks directly to a Spectrum server, of course. So you can use the rules engine, same with these. And it has a separate LEDs here. So rather than having the LEDs here, the LEDs are out here, which cuts down on the reflection almost to 0 from the camera, unless there's like a wall in front of the camera. Then you kind of can't help it. So we're actually doing things to eliminate stuff going on with the camera. And again, it's just another view of how small it is. Small camera, easy to install. And again, anything that we have so far with an X in it, and the model number you'll know is a deep learning AI camera. We also have the equivalent of this in a bullet. And again, as you can see, a little separate window here for the IR. All right. And now we're going to be releasing probably 3 or 4 weeks. Could be a little sooner, could be a little longer. 2 new servers. So these are going to be servers in our small case that have the AI, deep learning AI in it, along with the ability, of course, to record. And as you can see, we can do up to 10 analytics stream. We're going to have a 4-channel AI license built into it and a 4-channel Spectrum license included. So these are going to be a little more cost effective. And I think the only thing we're actually waiting for is to finish up with Windows 11 IoT Enterprise on the servers. So this way you can go in and, have customers saying, oh, you want Windows 11. So I think we're rolling out also Windows 11 in a few weeks, which would be good because you have people already asking for it, even though Microsoft, like, I think only released Windows 11 IoT Enterprise not that long ago. So, and we have another version, which is the DX7 version. The 5 version is 320 megabits throughput, and this is 480 megabits throughput. So it allows you, of course, to parse out how many cameras you want it to record, how many remote connections you have, and then figure out your max recording for that particular one. I will say this: our hottest selling cameras are now 4 megapixel cameras, and 4Ks are a close second. So got to keep in mind that you're going to be ordering cameras that are not 2 megapixel cameras anymore, that have a much lower bit rate. You're getting cameras and are requesting cameras that are a much higher bit rate. So keep an eye out for this. We'll be doing promotions for them. Don't know pricing on them. So keep that in mind. So if you want to email me and say when these are going to be released, a few weeks, okay? And I don't know pricing yet, so we'll get that to you. So, and then here's sort of a layout of their different specs. One's an i7, one's an i5. What is this? The 300 watt power supply. Oh yeah, and one of them's got a 2.5 gig Ethernet, which is becoming more of a standard in corporations. So you can plug that one into the local LAN, and this one into the camera network. So you can keep that in mind also. And again, these are going to come with our deep learning AI, which have all these different algorithms in it. So they'll detect people, they'll detect cars, they'll detect other objects, including like forklifts. Okay, they'll have a color filter in them. They'll figure out what the color filter is. And you also have enter, exit, direction, intrusion, tailgating, appear, disappear, stopped, line cross, which seemed the most common, line cross and intrusion in there. And then, of course, logical rules, where you can have 2 events create a rule. So you could have a line cross near a building that doesn't create an alert, but it's noted in the system. But then you could have a second line cross or an intrusion or another algorithm that then that does then say, hey, this is a real event. Someone's getting too close to the building. They've climbed over a fence or whatever. So allows you to say that's definitely a problem. So another 2 devices we're releasing, and again, this will be in a couple weeks, is a boxed speaker, okay, and a ceiling mount speaker. And these are natively detectable in Spectrum. So when you plug them in, they'll boot up, they'll go in and all of a sudden they'll appear in Spectrum. And the only thing you need to do is go in just like a camera and change their username and passwords. We can send HTTP events to them to make them play audio announcements, or you can have Spectrum push audio announcements to them because they have the ability to built it into them also. Pre-recorded live messages, background music, alarms, a lot of power, 30 watt. We put the 15 watt in our warehouse and we thought we needed the 30, and the 15 watt was like, wow. I mean, it was like, we thought we needed like that, either 2 of them or a 30 watt, or the 15 was fine. So having 30 watts is really quite good. So on a related product is the PoE splitter, because a lot of times you'll go out and say, okay, I need to go and install a camera, and then the customer wants an extra light, a speaker, whatever. And as long as it's PoE capable, this will split a PoE signal. Okay, so let's say you got a 30 watt output out of your switch, which is, I don't know, PoE plus plus or something like that. It'll split and basically give 15 watts to each leg. Okay, up to 90. At 90, it does 60 and 30. So if you have something that's drawing a lot of power, maybe one of the speakers, you give that the 30 side, and then you got a PTZ on the other side drawing more power. Gives you distances up to 328 feet past the extender. So in theory, you've got 600 feet or 200 meters to play with. You might be able to make it push it a little longer than that, but supports up to a gigabit transmission rate. And they are heavy duty built, IK10, and really like just, I mean, I saw it. I was like, does this need to be this heavy duty aluminum housing? And very easy to use, um, weatherproof boots. And when you'll see it, you'll know exactly what I mean. You can put a regular Ethernet uh, cable in there, and the way the boot works, it'll go over it, and then you can screw it on, and it's watertight. So anyway, I'm going to go to questions.